Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm going to be doing a graphic novel wrap-up. Today is the bookmobile, and all of these graphic novels are due. So this is just basically a mini review for each graphic novel that I read in the last, week or so. So the first one I want to talk about is called Genius. This is by First Second Publishing and written by Siegel and Christensen. This is about a man who is a physicist, and his god, human god is Albert Einstein. And this is what the inside of it looks like. Let's see if I can show you some more pictures. Anyways, this is just about basically the man started off really young and he was a genius and he got to skip 2 grades, and then as he got older, there is a time limit when it comes to scientists, physicists in general, and the young pups that come into the workforce, they have all these grandiose ideas and they get ahead, whereas the people who have been there a while, like the older generation, tend to lose steam, and if they don't get ideas, then they are, dismissed from science or, coming up with anything new, and the young pups take their place. So basically this man is stressing out that he is going to lose his job because his wife is very ill and he doesn't want to lose the insurance, and he finds out that his father-in-law actually knew Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein told him a secret, and he wants his he wants his father-in-law to tell him what the secret was, but his father-in-law is very elderly and he's losing it, a little bit, and he doesn't know whether this secret that he finally gets the father-in-law to tell him is the truth or not, and whether it would be moral to use this idea when Albert Einstein told the father-in-law not to tell anyone, to take it to the grave. And so that's basically the gist of the story. I enjoyed it for the most part. The drawings are very crude and not simplistic, but maybe. I mean, you can barely really see any expressions. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. The next graphic novel that I read is called Cat Person by Sue Kim, or So Kim. I'm not sure how to say that. I absolutely loved this graphic novel. I think I gave it a 4. It is just silly things that cats do, silly things that people do on their own, silly things that you do with your cat. This is one of my favorite out of the whole story because it's so, I can relate to it so much. So here's the main character, and she realizes, oh God, there's something on the stove. And she's all, shit. She's running. She finally gets there, and she realizes, oh no, wait till I flip the grilled cheese over and it's totally burnt, and she's just ah. I mean, seriously, so funny. I cracked up a lot during this. So yeah, if you like cats and if you do, silly things and you can relate, this is the perfect graphic novel to read. It was very easy, and the drawings, like I said, are they're very silly. I think I gave this 4 or 5 stars. The next graphic novel I have here is A Year Without Mom, and this is by Dasha Tolstikova, I think. Basically, there's a little girl who lives in Russia. Her mom is a journalist for the newspaper, I believe, and so she goes to America to get her master's degree, and so the little girl has to stay with her grandparents in Russia, and her grandparents are, the whole family really is really into English and literature and all that stuff, and so she goes to some kind of camp during the summer with her grandparents that focuses on literature, and there's a whole bunch of other kids that go to do this, and she really has fun, and then there's a little bit of growing up, and then her mom comes back and says, hey, now we can move to America together. The people I've been staying with said yes, that you could come, and she doesn't want to go, which is, all little kids don't want to move away from their home, especially if they have friends. And she's like being forced to move across the world, and she doesn't like it, and she's very upset. And that's basically it. I gave it 3 stars. Let me see a good drawing. Well, there we go. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's okay. Just talks about Russia and the little girl. And that is the boy she has a crush on, and he is dating a girl in middle school that smokes cigarettes. You know, in other countries, I guess you can smoke younger. There's that. The next graphic novel that I read is called The Property by Rutu Modin, and this is about a girl. Well, she's, you know, a young adult. So they live in Israel, and she's taking her grandmother to Poland because her grandmother's father and mom left her property in Poland, and she had to flee because she was pregnant and she wasn't married. And so when she left Poland to go to Israel, that was during World War II, and she got stranded in Israel, so she had to live there and raise her daughter there, and or her son. And then she remarried, yada yada. But basically, this is just a story of the grandmother going back to her homeland to seek property, and then finding out that the property was actually sold to an old friend, and not wanting to take the property away from him, and the granddaughter finding out who her real grandfather is. And I mean, some of it was a little bit funny. I think I gave this 3 stars. Again, it's just, you know, people's lives, and there's a lot of, well, they speak in Polish, but I don't think they don't write anything in Polish. The granddaughter can't speak Polish, and so she just kind of like is like, well, what are they talking about? It was all right. The next book or graphic novel that I read was House of Mystery, and this is by Matthew Sturges, Bill Willingham, and Luca Rossi. If you have read Bill Willingham's Fables series, it's kind of written in that way. It's got the really, oh, this is a really gruesome, disgusting picture. It's got that rough newspaper, yeah, that's 2 papers, newspaper feel that I absolutely hate, because I'm very, I don't know what this is called. Touching this irritates my fingers, like I can't stand it. But basically, it's a whole bunch of different stories put together in one. There is a house that you can't see on the cover. Well, here's the house. There's the House of Mystery. There's a girl that says that she actually drew this house. The house loves her in some way, and if you get into this house, you're trapped. And so there's just a bunch of stories of other people that have been trapped here, other characters, and it doesn't say where these characters come from, so I don't know if it's like the real world or different like dimensions or like a fairy tale kind of thing. But yeah, this is the main girl right here, and she's being chased by these 2 ghostly figures, and she finally gets to the house and she meets all of the characters. There's a bartender and a pirate woman who is the bouncer, and then there's this waitress, and they fight a lot, and they're like very catty. And yeah, it just goes along, and you know, she's trying to explain how to get out of the house, and that she's the one who drew it. And in order to pay for the food at this House of Mystery, people have to tell stories, and that's what this book is about, just their stories for payment. Very weird, and I will probably be reading the second one if it's at the library. All right, 2 more. I have here Beautiful Creatures by Kama Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is chapters 1 through 8. I love when graphic novels are colored. You'll see this in manga too, where like the first couple pages are like glossy and colored, and then the rest is black and white, which drives me crazy because I want it all in color. Anyways, this is pretty, you know, to the story. If you've read Beautiful Creatures, this is a great way to recap the story if you wanted to, like, reread it quickly before you went to, like, book 2. I don't believe there is another manga drawn up for the second book. It was alright. I think I gave it, like, 3 stars. There's a little bit of things missing. Yeah. It was just okay. I enjoyed the original novel way better. Normally, I think that they're on par. You know, when you read a graphic novel that has a novel, it's always like, oh, I get to see like extra features or kind of what the illustrator thought that, you know, the person looked like in the book. But this was just okay. And lastly, I read a non-fiction about Shackleton and his Antarctic Odyssey. This is written by Nick Bertozzi. I believe he's also the illustrator. And basically, this was such a great nonfiction too. This man has gone, let me see here. Show you the very first page because it's got like kind of like a map. So it talks about all of the captains of the voyage to Antarctica and how, not America, but England tried to get there first, and then there was an expedition that was not England. I can't remember who got there, but they planted their flags. They're trying to get to see who gets to the pole the closest, and then the Shackleton guy, his final journey is in 1914. He wants to go all the way across the Antarctic, so he starts up from one end and wants to get to the other end, but the ice is too thick, and then his ship sinks, and his crew are taking like boats across the ice, and then they find themselves, you know, kind of stranded on an island, and Shackleton has to like figure out how to get the surviving passengers that were with him, like his crewmates, onto another ship to go back to England. Very fascinating. I absolutely love the drawings. Some of the dialogue is very funny. And yeah, it was just interesting history to learn. I've heard of Shackleton before, and it's funny because right after I read this graphic novel, I kept seeing his name in a lot of other books that I read recently. So that was kind of bizarre. That usually happens where I read a name or a book or a place, and then the next couple books that I read end up having those characters or places in them as well. Alright, so that is my mini reviews for all of these graphic novels. Hopefully I reviewed them to your satisfaction. If not, I will leave all of the links down below for my Goodreads reviews. Those ones are always so much better because I have a lot more time to like process the book and like look up people's names and stuff instead of just standing here going, I think that's what the person's name was. So anyways, yep, these were a lot of fun. And if you have any questions about them, let me know down below, I guess. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!